My name is Elizabeth Hanft, and I chose to do my action research on self monitoring intervention for the off task student. There was a vast amount of research, but the main themes that I saw throughout the research were one, self monitoring teaches students how to tell between inappropriate and appropriate behaviors. Two, it has been shown to improve academic performance, increase motivation, and reduce disruptive behaviors. Three, when students are taught self monitoring strategies, they are more likely to reduce the negative behaviors. Four, helps them be more self aware on how their behaviors are affecting those around them. And five, it allows them to track and see their improvements, which increases their self confidence and self esteem. My rationale for doing this research project is that there were four seventh grade students in my sixth hour that had a major struggle with self-control and staying on task. I first chalked this up to me having them after lunch, but when I spoke with my team at one of our weekly team seventh grade team meetings, I found that the other teachers were having similar issues with these four students. The constant redirecting became tedious and frustrating. I would oftentimes go home exhausted. The the redirecting wasn't helping in developing relationships. One of the main thing with teaching middle school students is developing those relationships with them. When you have those positive relationships, you have less behaviors. However, in this case, because of their off task behaviors and constant redirection, it was really hindering that relationship me and the other teachers were able to develop with those students. Also, there was also a negative impact with the other students in their class that were engaging, that were doing what they were supposed to do. They also became frustrated. So, I decided to try the self monitoring intervention with these students to see if I could help take some of the pressure off of myself and the other teachers. The study was 6 weeks. All four students had trouble self regulating and being on task. These four students had impulse control issues, and this caused other students to be off task. So not only were they distracting themselves, they were distracting other students. These four students have not been diagnosed with a learning or behavioral disability. In my baseline data, I did a full week of just in my class tallying how many times I had to redirect a student or remind them to be on task. For the four students, they averaged being off task for 4 to 6 times in a 45-minute class period. This is a lot for a 12 or 13-year-old child. You normally see this in lower grades. However, it was constant redirecting, and the students were causing frustration amongst their teachers. When I started this intervention, I first explained, I took them together and I explained that their off task behavior was causing disruption in their classes and not helping them engage or learn well. So I explained the issue. I modeled for them what on task behavior looked like as opposed to off task. I then gave them a situation where they had to model on task behavior. So each student was given a sheet of checklists they used to self monitor their behavior. The teacher had to sign off in agreement. So if they said, yes, I followed the directions, I did what I was supposed to do, the teacher had to initial whether they agreed or not. At the end of the week, I met with the students one-on-one to discuss their week and asked, how do you think it went this week based on your data sheet? After we had that discussion, the student would then brainstorm ways that would help their behavior. What we found in the first few weeks was student A found that listening to his AirPods using his AirPods to listen to music during work time really helped him be able to focus better on his work. This was a bit of a challenge because we have a school-wide policy that students are not allowed to have the AirPods in class. However, I did convince my principal to let me use it for this particular research and was happy to be able to show him the results from that. I'm hoping to be able to change that rule in the future. Students B and D having a fidget such as I have a squeeze ball in my room. Having a fidget helped them focus better. And student C was just simply being able to have a 5-minute break when needed. I would let them get up, go to the bathroom, get a drink, go visit the office ladies, and then come back. And that seemed to help and improve his focus. So as you can see with my results, this was the percentages that the students were on task. So week 1, that averaged about 45% on task. So student A, student B, 40%, student C, student D, 50%. Knowing these students, this was not surprising data to me. But as you can see, by week 3 and week 6, we had a vast improvement. So by this last week, they were able to stay on task 80 to 90% of the time, which was a vast improvement from week 1. Here you can see in the bar graph how they improved from week 1, week 3, and week 6. So the implications for this research was I noticed better on-task behavior. It definitely increased. Their academic performance then increased as well because they were able to focus and be engaged better. Because of their on-task behavior, their academic performance actually grew. Their off-task behavior decreased. There was less directing by the teachers as a whole. The students then ended up being proud of their accomplishment. They increased their ownership of behaviors. If done for longer time, there should be SMART goal set and weekly self-reflection. So what I learned, the self-monitoring system helped with the negative behaviors that were causing issues in the classroom. I found this intervention to be a success, and I plan to use it in the future. When I use it in the future, I plan on using it for longer time to be able to add SMART goals and self-reflection. I hope that other teachers would consider using this intervention in their classroom. I used it with middle school students. I'm sure this would work on a different level in the elementary school. Hopefully by high school, they no longer would need to use this intervention if focused on in elementary and middle school. These were my resources. Thank you for listening.